Well, good evening, everybody. Hope Hump Day has treated you well. This is going to be a little bit of a fun experience here. You won't believe who I found. A man who is absolutely. You got to see this fucking setup, this microphone he's got, man. This thing has just entranced me since I got in here. But he is a gaming YouTuber. He's got a pretty boss ass channel, and I want to let everybody pretend like they don't know who you are. Tell everybody who the fuck you are, man.
Yeah, man. What's going on, everybody? Is the VGMobster here? What's up, man? I'm ready to get liquored up tonight. Appreciate you having me
We're gonna
on.
do that.
Um, yeah, man. So, I'm just here to have a good time, talk games, entertainment, drink a little bit, talk about some of my new upcoming projects, and have fun. That's it.
Fuck yeah! What the fuck you drinking tonight, man?
That's it, man. I got a little Crown Royal and ginger and my
Ooh,
Yakuza
good.
Dragon Cup. So I'm living it up for you guys.
That's a hell of a good start, actually. I've got the
Hell
Blantons
yeah,
out.
man.
I've been sipping on the Blantons. I'm about almost
Nice.
halfway through a fucking bottle now, which is tragic.
Mm.
But I can't stop drinking the shit because I haven't had it for almost 8 months because it's hard to find it anymore. So
There you go.
just Blanton's
Yeah,
neat
man.
tonight for me. And chat, don't forget
Sweet.
to if you're drinking something, post in the chat what the fuck you're drinking, man. We always like to hear
Yeah,
it.
man.
So Yakuza. So start me off because this one's coming to Switch and it's coming physically, which means I'm actually gonna fucking play it now. Tell me a little bit
Hell
about
yeah.
Yakuza. Starting off with that, what's your favorite game in the series, and what is
Yakuza.
awesome about it?
All right. First of all, for me, Yakuza, I love the freaking mini games. Like the mini games in Yakuza are like the best. Like they don't, it's so weird. Yakuza is so cool because they can break like the narrative and the structure of the gameplay and it totally works. They always find a way to do it. And I freaking love that about Yakuza. So I'd say for me, like just like, obviously like the characters, the combat's really fun. Just doing crazy crap in the open world is really cool. But I love how they implement all these weird and wild mini games and they still make it work. Like I love that.
It feels
It's so
like each of
ballsy.
those
People don't do
games.
that anymore, but I love it.
Well, it's almost like they're a fever dream, man. Like every single one of them. Like
Yeah, they're so
I was
wild. They're
watching
so
one,
random. You know what I'm saying?
and you've
They're
got
so
a
random.
yeah, you got a motherfucker in like a diaper with a badass tattoo on his back and a fucking katana, getting ready to
I
like
know.
get
So
shit done. And
badass.
so that's after
I
my own
love
heart.
it.
I can't wait. So
Yeah,
I
man.
I think we're starting with I think it's the redo of Yakuza 1, I think. So they're starting us kind of
Hmm.
on the origin. Now we didn't get 0, which people like Rush Dog says is a fucking tragedy. But you know what? I
Yeah.
honestly look for Sega to take advantage of that Switch install base and gradually port that whole fucking series over.
Oh yeah, no, that it's Switch 2 is gonna be a Yakuza machine, man. It's gonna have pretty much all the games on it. Sega dropped the ball on Switch.
They
They
did.
totally dropped it. So they're not gonna make the same mistake again. I mean, look at Japan. Just Japan alone. They like totally dropped the ball on it. So to have Yakuza come, not a shock to me. I think this is good to kind of like test the waters, kind of get in ARM development for them. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they've all obviously just been with consoles for a while. So to get with a console with like, portable ARM thing, this is a good kind of let's, to put our feet in the water, see how it goes. But yeah, they're definitely coming, dude. Switch 2 is going to be a Yakuza machine for sure. 100%.
It just goes to show you how slow the gears on these big monster corporations move, man.
Yeah.
Because you
Crazy.
can't tell me with a straight face, aside from like the actual like ideological disputes some of these in particular the Western studios have with Nintendo. So for example, there is a grudge legitimately between EA and Nintendo that goes back to the fucking NES. But outside of that, you can't tell me in general that these companies wouldn't have wanted to get on the Switch sooner. It's impossible for me to even rationalize. So it just goes to
Oh
show you
yeah.
just how long it takes. Like, okay, they already had written the Switch off as a loser because of
Yeah.
the Wii U, which was a monstrous mistake on their part. I said from day
Oh
one the
yeah,
Switch
yeah.
was going
Oh
to be a
yeah.
mega hit.
It was
Day one.
Wii U was the product of bad marketing and just inconsistent game, software.
Wii
That's
U
what
had
it
a lot
was.
of problems, but marketing was
Oh yeah, that
certainly
was
the chief
good.
of
I
them.
think marketing was the main thing.
Yeah,
I just
marketing.
feel like was
Well,
so bad.
yeah, you literally had soccer moms who made the Wii a success coming in and also made the Switch a success. going into the
Yeah.
GameStop thinking, "Hey, give me the Wii U add-on for the Wii." Like they didn't
Yeah,
fucking
it's
know, man.
like they really didn't. Yeah, the way they marketed it made no
So you
sense.
had
And
you
then
had yeah, you had the
yeah, and
marketing,
then
but go
I
ahead.
always freaking say with the Wii U. Now again, I own Wii U. I still have it. I still have pretty much most of my games for it.
Does it still work?
Um, yeah, it does. It
Okay,
does. It
'cause I,
still works. Yeah, I know. I've been heard about bricking lately. I've been hearing about that. And I'm
which
like,
is
oh
also
god.
shocking for a Nintendo system, by the way.
I know those things. Those things. I mean, like Super Nintendo. I remember that Game Boy that like survived like the Gulf War or
I've
something.
seen
Like
that
so
Game
that
Boy that survived the Gulf War. They turned it on.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
was
can still turn the
wild.
fucking thing on with batteries. It's
That was
crazy.
wild. I saw
Yeah,
that at Nintendo NYC. That was wild.
yeah,
Um,
that's a crazy thing. But yeah, so
yeah,
the marketing certainly did not help. Was a
no.
major factor. It was also literally just it was a flea away from what the Wii represented. It was a flea
Hmm.
away from the expanded audience. It fled
Yeah.
from the blue ocean strategy, the disruptive innovation theory.
Hmm.
Basically, the Wii U was the system that the hardcore gamers all said they wanted, and I tried to tell Nintendo. I was actually an investor at the time. Don't
Hmm.
go in that direction, guys, because they won't buy it. They'll just buy a PS3 or a 360 or a PS4 or
Yeah.
an Xbox. Hardcore gamers aren't coming to. They're not. They're not going to buy it. So because one, you're not gonna jump full in with the super duper fuck you HD budgets that the hardcore gamers want. You're not. You're gonna
Hmm.
do it half-assed. You're gonna go half-hearted in. It's gonna be a half measure, and they're gonna
Yeah.
reject it. And they're gonna go ahead and stick with their high-spec graphics machines. That's what they want. They haven't felt the diminishing return of the graphical fidelity yet, which
I
even they're
just
starting to
I
feel now.
yeah. Yeah, I just feel like I always tell people this when we talk about Wii U, like in the in the chats and the discords and stuff. I always say that if Wii U was able to launch with Super Mario Maker at launch,
Mario Maker was good. Splatoon also
but
very good.
but what I like, listen to what I'm saying though. If they launch with Mario Maker, because Mario Maker to me was one of the best implementations and the easiest like value add for the gamepad.
Yes.
So if they could have used that game to market Wii U, I think the actual concept would have clicked a little bit easier with the audiences. And I think that they would have said, oh, okay, this is how we can use it, and use that as a springboard as opposed to just porting over, Super Mario, I was like, I don't think that was really like the best way to
Well, it
launch
wasn't.
with it.
It
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Well,
So
here's the
and
problem.
again, like you said, I'm not saying it would have changed everything,
No, but it would
but
have
it
helped.
would have started a lot better.
So Mario Maker would have been
And
a great at start, even better.
yeah,
And my idea, and this is actually
hmm,
what I pitched, and they didn't want to do it
yeah,
because again
hmm,
they were in the they were abandoning the expanded audience idea at that time. But my idea
hmm,
was that you take the UPod
yep,
and what you do, and again I'm not a game dev, so full
hmm,
disclosure, but
of
what I
course, of
but I
course,
saw the when you look at the Wii marketing and you look at people that are having fun playing games, like it focused on the people, not the games. Like
hmm,
it would show you the people playing and having fun.
correct,
And Wii Sports was a monumental hit for the Wii. So what you do
hmm,
is you take Wii Sports or Wii Sports Resort, right? You use that to show off the additional functionality that a U-Pod could bring to the sport. So you imagine you have four players, and you also have another player with the U-Pod who is acting as the referee for the games. Imagine, just like in real life, a referee who maybe doesn't see the right call or makes the wrong call
hmm,
or makes a bad call, or maybe your friend fucking paid you $5 in order to throw the match for the other guy. You don't know. It could make for some dynamic, amazing gameplays that the Wii U just they weren't interested in that anymore. They just weren't interested in that. The other thing you mentioned is that Mario U Deluxe. Now, Mario Wii, I understand the thinking behind it because Super Mario Brothers Wii was a monumental hit. The fucking
yeah,
problem with that, though, is I said it again as an investor. I said, you guys can only get away with this once. Fireland, Iceland, Plainsland, Jungle
hmm,
Land. The reason you were able to get away with such what I feel like was kind of a half-assed music in Wii, half-assed design potential. So people want to see when you have a 2D Mario an expansion of the Mushroom World, and we did not get that with Wii, and we sure as fuck didn't get it with you. And I said, you can only get away with that once. You're going to have to show us an actual God's honest, good effort 2D Mario game when you launched a Wii U, and they didn't do it.
Correct.
No, we got the half-ass
Yeah.
port. Now, if they would have launched with a real fucking 2D Mario game, that thing would have lit the world on
No,
fire.
oh, of course, yeah. I
At
mean,
least
2D
more,
Mario
yeah,
definitely. I mean, 2D
a good one.
Mario 90% of the time sells better than 3D, so I totally get it.
Yeah, and in
But
fact, it was literally instant KO every time until Mario Odyssey. Now, Mario
yeah.
Odyssey finally, I feel like 3D Mario finally came into its own. Not only as a good play experience, but as a fucking system seller. Like, you can't even,
Oh,
nobody
it's
can deny
incredible.
that.
That's
Yeah.
one of my
Oh,
favorite games this gen
me
in
too.
general, like across any platform. The game just blew me away.
And me too,
I
man.
just thought the way they did Cappy was just like so freaking creative, and it just
Yeah.
let them go balls to the wall, and it worked. Like everything just came together. And the game still, and for me, again, the whole thing with Switch, as being a dad, I have 2 kids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just that versatility was just so big for me. Like it launched with Zelda, which was a huge game, where I can't
Breath
I
of the
can't be
Wild.
tethered to the TV like all this time. So to have these games that I'm starting on the TV, but like if my kids want to watch something on TV, I can pop it out, play it on the couch, play it on my lunch breaks, play it in the
Oh,
bed if
yeah,
I'm
man.
tired. It was just a game changer, and like games like Breath of the Wild, any RPGs now. That's why Switch is like
Yes.
my favorite system to play RPGs,
Me
like
too,
in
man.
general. And then Super Mario Odyssey, like the colors, they just like popped off the screen, like it ran smooth at 60. And I'm like, oh my god, this game that I'm like jaw dropping over on the TV, I can just play it anywhere I want and just pick up right where I was. Like it really nailed like their proof of concept. They just nailed it.
They did.
With those early games, and just like that. That's why I was saying, like, if they did Super Mario Maker, like, man, they really nailed this 2-screen approach. Like, and then I think the third party devs would have been like more confident, and
Sure.
they would have kept going from there. But they just kind of were like, oh yeah, you guys, we're gonna trust you to do it in the beginning.
Well, I mean, look at
That
the
didn't really make
yeah, and
sense,
look at the difference between the Wii U and the Switch in terms of hardware implementation.
Mm-hmm.
They never justified the use of the U-Pod, which was a gigantic, expensive doodad that sunk the system.
Yeah.
It legitimately did. It never justified it. Whereas,
Yeah, it
so
was like,
the hardware, so Yamauchi, the infamous head of Nintendo back in the 80s, had a famous statement. He said that the box is just something you buy to get to Mario. This is something that the 4K twins, Xbox and Sony, don't understand. They just don't get it. It's the box. It's just a box you buy to get to Mario. That's all it is.
exactly.
So what?
It's their IP, man. Nintendo is all
Yes,
about their IP. I
yes.
mean, they
Well,
have the treasure trove, and
and not only the IPs but the universes, the Mushroom
yep.
World,
Mm-hmm.
the galaxy
Hyrule.
with Metroid, Hyrule. It's
Yep.
absolutely all about that, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the hardware is your passport to getting to those worlds. It's your passport.
Exactly.
It's your entryway into the theme park. That's what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the Wii U, what you're doing is the hardware. Nobody likes hardware transitions. When I try to explain to folks like Nintendo Prime or OJ from
Mm-hmm.
Playerisms and those folks too, because everybody like all these creators, they're so fucking hyped. They're so fucking excited for these new systems. Oh my god, I'm so fucking excited to spend 400 more goddamn dollars. They're so excited to do it. And the thing is, like that is an insular hardcore gamer perspective that a vast
Mm-hmm.
majority of customers don't share. They're not excited to buy new hardware. It's a pain in the
No,
fucking
especially
ass.
no, it is. It's a pain. You got to buy every, and then with
Yep,
Nintendo, nothing transferred,
correct.
so it was literally buying everything over
Hmm.
again. Like it was
It's a
so
pain.
annoying.
So the goal of the hardware, one, you have to have the software that people want to buy. But I
Yeah.
think even more importantly, or as important, not more important, but as important,
Mm-hmm.
you have to mitigate the pain in the ass it is to move over hardware. I think the Switch 2 is going to have a very hard time with this. And the reason for that is the Switch was such a wonderful device in terms of mitigating the risk of transitioning to a new hardware. The Wii U didn't do that. The Wii U started from scratch and it gave you a bunch of shit you didn't want, you didn't ask for, and they never justified its use.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo came out immediately with an expansion of the hardware in the value proposition, which is, hey, we're going to give you gaming and we're going to give you gaming on the go in one package.
Exactly.
It
And
was
then
an
and
easy buy.
combining, and it allowed their dev teams to combine,
Yeah,
which was so
also,
important, man. That was so important because
yeah.
then you just had more devs to develop these games, and you're just able to churn out games. I mean, this is proof in the pudding right here. Okay.
Mhm.
Year 8 of the Switch, they're still putting out more games than the primes of Xbox Series and PS5
Yep.
in their prime years. They're still making more games for
Yeah,
it.
those systems. It's hard for me to see those
You know
other
what I'm saying
two.
though?
Oh, I
Like
do.
that's what I'm
I do.
talking about. Like before, Nintendo had to split them between their handheld and their home console, and you could tell like they, especially when they transitioned to HD, they were really struggling with that. So they're like, you know what? Let's just do one that we can do both, and then all of our devs can work on one platform, and you
Yep.
still get the value add of the portability. And we all know, I mean, everybody I know has a smartphone. Everybody is on the go. Everybody's mobile now. Nintendo is like, if we're going to compete with these guys, we need portability,
Mhm.
and we do that well with our consoles. We make good portable consoles. I mean, their best selling consoles until Switch were the portable ones.
Still
For
are.
the most part, for the most part,
Yep. And again,
yeah. I mean,
and for the most part, still are, because a lot of people make the
mhm,
misconception they love to. Well, the game industry likes to do whatever they can do to protect Sony and
mhm,
Microsoft. So,
yeah.
just now they're coming around to the fact that the Switch is actually a handheld that can dock to a TV, and that's what it is, actually.
Yeah,
And
exactly. That's how I always I don't know about you. I play mine about like 80%
portable.
handheld, yeah.
Yep, me too. Me too. I actually.
Especially with the OLED
Oh, it's so
screen, like
good.
no
It's so
brainer.
good.
No brainer.
Yeah,
No brainer.
Mario Odyssey just pops even more on that
Ugh,
OLED. The games like
beautiful, man.
Hades,
And
fucking
it's
beautiful.
crazy. And I was not a believer in the OLED, but I pretty much got it for free because I traded in my Gen 1 Switch that the battery was going anyway, so
Hmm.
I didn't really care. And once I got the OLED, and I always tell people this, and I'm not a paid spokesman or anything, but like when I got it, like that screen alone made me go back and replay games because it just looks so much better than the LCD one. And like now I can't go back.
And see,
Like, you know what I
and
mean?
see,
Like,
homie, that means something coming from you, because you, like me, are a gamer and a player who actually has to buy your own shit. All these
yeah.
games journals, you can write all the fucking reviews you want as a games journal, but you don't buy your own shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
None of you buy your
Mm-hmm.
own shit.
Yeah,
So
I buy my own
yeah, me
stuff. So
too. I have to take what all of you say is a game. Like, yeah, you can talk all you want, but again, I've got a shelf full of over 400 Switch games and 2 Switches so far, and a portable Switch Lite. All that came from my fucking bank account. Nobody gave me any of that shit. Nobody. And
yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like
And like,
that's
you know what I
part of the
mean?
review experience, man. You have to, if you haven't bought your own shit, I'm not saying that your opinion is worth less. I'm just saying that that is not coming at it from the perspective of a customer who spent 60, 70, 50, 40, whatever the fuck on that game.
Yeah, exactly. I
You're
mean,
coming
like
at it
I
from the
love
perspective of
gaming.
paying $0.
Of course. I mean, and I know some creators are like, oh, like I'll still buy the game even though I get it, but it's not the same because you have to, you know, if you get the game for free, right? If you don't like the game, you don't have to buy it. Otherwise, like the people like us, like if we're going out on a limb, like if we're gonna spend our money, we have to be like
Yeah.
really confident about it because
100.
it's our money. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So,
it's to me, it's easy to shit on a game, or it can go either way.
mm,
It's very easy to shit on a game and not struggle. Final Fantasy 13 for me is a great example of this. I bought
mhm.
Final Fantasy 13. It was the first Final Fantasy I'd played since 6. So imagine that disconnect there, first of all. And
Mhm.
because at the time that came out, I was struggling through college. That's $60 or at 50 or 60. I forget what it was. I think it was 50.
It all counts, man. It all counts. I get it.
Yeah,
I
and it
feel you.
it meant a lot to me. And so I
Mhm.
plunked that game down, and so that was a game I hated, actually. But the problem is
Mhm.
I had just spent my $50 that I had on my entertainment on Final
Mm,
Fantasy 13. So, oh
mhm.
my God,
I got
Mobster, you
you.
have no idea the justifications that went through my head as I played through the first 9 chapters of this fucking piece of shit. And I'm sitting there playing through this, and I'm like, well, it's really pretty. And well, it's
Yeah.
kind of nice that the
Yeah.
combat plays
Mhm.
itself aside from paradigm shifting. And I finally got to chapter 9, and I realized, holy fuck, this game sucks. I got to get the fuck rid of this game before it goes to zero trade-in value.
Oh,
And I took it to the GameStop and traded it in. A game reviewer didn't go through any of that.
Yeah,
it was easy for them to say, I like the
and
game or I don't like the game. It's
exactly. Yeah, it is what. But you know what though? That's why, like, again, when I'm on either doing a video review or like when I drop a Twitter review on X, like people respect my opinion because they know I'm buying the games. You know what I'm saying? Like unless like they're very few, like a couple indies I get, to review, but those indies I'm actually legitimately interested in and I promote them. But all the AAA and the big stuff, I pay for it out of my pocket.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
I'm a big proponent of disclose what you paid. I don't care if you didn't pay for the fucking game. Disclose what you paid, so I know that that's part of your consumer experience. So, for example, I just played Mass Effect Trilogy. I paid $6 fucking for Mass Effect.
So freaking good.
Oh,
what'd you play it on?
Steam.
Nice.
It was a Steam sale for $6. All 3 games. I couldn't pass it up.
Nice. Oh no, that's a Godfather offer right there.
But I'm gonna have to literally. It is the offer you can't refuse. It is
exactly.
But I have to disclose. I bought the fucking game for $6, so it's coming from the perspective.
Okay, but the game's older too.
Yeah, it's coming from the perspective of someone who spent $6, not $150 on this.
Yeah, on the collectors with the helmet and all that.
I spent $6. That being said, I have argued to this day that for its money, outside of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, that is the best bang for my buck I've ever felt I've gotten for a video game series. I would gladly pay $150 for all 3 games.
Tears of the Kingdom, I put 200 and I think 50 hours into Tears of the Kingdom. So to me that was my best value. Like
Morrowind, I've got thousands. God, I swear.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not and Skyrim. So I put a lot into Skyrim.
I was saying Skyrim's another one that people can just holy shit.
Yeah, so you can get lost. You can get lost in Skyrim, now, especially if you have all the expansions and mods and stuff.
Dude, the mods on. So Skyrim is always one. I'm a Morrowind guy, so I don't think Skyrim's a bad game. Now, Oblivion, I will say.
Okay, now you got your allegiance. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But Skyrim, I think with mods, Skyrim becomes godly. It becomes as godly as the Elder Scrolls game, and that's
because you know what it is. That community loves that game. Like that is their life. So they pour their heart and soul into it. So those mods are like better than the dev mods.
Have you ever seen the mod called Vigilant?
I've heard of it. I have not played it.
Yeah, 2 mods for Skyrim. So Vigilant is it gives the Vigilance of Stendar gives them a faction quest.
Nice.
But this faction quest,
that's pretty cool. Actually, I can see that. That's pretty cool.
You go to Cold Harbor and you fight fucking Molag Bal. I'm not even sure.
When this winter, I think because now I got it on Steam Deck. I think I'm gonna go back and play it again, just choose a different faction. Just go a different route and then maybe now I got the anniversary edition, so maybe try some of those other mods from the community in there and I'll definitely see like how it is. Oh yeah, I'm sure they're awesome.
The other one,
I've done basic ones, but I haven't done some of the newer ones.
The other one, and you want to make sure but for this one you want to build a whole playthrough around it. It's called Legacy of the Dragonborn. And what this mod does is it literally gives you a museum of the Dragonborn in Skyrim. With a whole voice quest line and everything. Basically, it turns the game into a big collectathon. So there's all these artifacts it adds. And basically this museum guy will send you on quests to find these unique artifacts like your fucking Indiana Jones and bring them back and display them in the fucking museum. It's amazing.
That's badass. That sounds good.
So all your Daedric weapons get a display. And then they add artifacts from the past games that weren't even in Skyrim with quests added to get them. Like
it's insane. It's insane what they do in mods. Like it's incredible. I think it's so freaking cool.
It is the ultimate expression of love and relevance for a community, especially a hobby that's starting to suffer again from disinterest. Mods show you like the amount of love poured into mods shows you how a game's audience truly is. Morrowind.
Yeah, that's why I'm super excited that Red Dead Redemption is going to PC. I replayed it again. PS3 obviously, and then I replayed it on Switch. It was so freaking cool to play that game portably.
It's fun.
And now to be able to play that on Steam Deck with mods, like
Oh
the
yeah.
community is gonna go nuts with that game. And I said, when that game drops in price and those mods are out, I'm gonna triple dip. I
So
don't care.
the sad part about some of those games,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the Elder Scrolls games have the added bonus of they shipped with their development tools. The
Hmm.
entire basically Morrowind, and I think Skyrim's the same. If you buy it on PC, it ships with something called the construction set. And the
Okay.
construction set is literally that is the fucking tool set they use to make the game. They
Wow.
give you their tools. They give you their engine, their
That's
tools,
cool. That is
everything.
cool, though. That's pretty cool.
Now, again, now that's
Yeah,
why
Red Dead's definitely not like that. I know
no,
that,
it's
but
not. But Red Dead has a popular enough game to where the modders will crack it. So it'll
yeah,
take
oh for
some
sure.
time. It won't get right off the start. But
They've even done expansion just through the emulated versions. So you know what I mean? Like with an official version, I
mhm.
think they'll be able to do it even better.
Oh
You know what
fuck
I'm
yeah.
saying? So
Oh yeah.
that's what I'm excited about because
Now,
I love that freaking game.
oh
That's
yeah.
one of my favorite games of all time.
Well,
Red Dead
the
One
one
and
I'm
Two.
getting ready to go back to is and check out this community. So the Morrowind community is a very interesting modding community because
Mm-hmm.
unlike Skyrim, where I think it's about 50-50. There's 50% vanilla plus lore friendly mods, and there's
Mm-hmm.
50% of people just being as creative as fuck, doing whatever the fuck they want to do, macho dragons and shit, right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
in the Morrowind community, because that's such an older game, you've got an entire community, and they're just focused on expanding the lore and the world of Morrowind that Bethesda made. And so you're getting shit like there's a mod called Tamriel Rebuilt because Morrowind only has one province of the country, Vardenfell, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tamriel Rebuilt
Okay.
is building the entire rest of the country using Bethesda's actual lore. So you've got the mainland in Morrowind now that literally has more quest content than the original base vanilla fucking game. At this point,
That's
the
insane.
Elder Scrolls 3
That's crazy.
Morrowind is an add-on for Tamriel Rebuilt. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh my god.
And I'm not, it's not me
That's
saying that.
wild. That's
That's not
wild,
me
man.
saying that. That's
That's
Todd
wild.
Howard saying that. Because Todd Howard is even like,
That's
that shit's
cool though,
brilliant.
man. Like that's so I mean,
Yes, it's brilliant.
Bethesda's gotta love that though, because it just shows how passionate the community is. And they're talking about, all these numbers now about concurrent players and all that. That's gotta
None of
make
that.
them feel even
Yeah.
better.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
man, this community spent all this time just to explore the lore of the game that we created. Like
Here, let
that's
me
good. I would, if I was a dev, I would be like so honored by that. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. Like that's so freaking cool.
let me
You
pull
know?
up something real quick. Tamriel Rebuilt map. And I'll show you what was. Okay, so here it is. Okay. So we've got, and I want the most recent one, Tamriel Rebuilt roadmap. That's pretty good right
Mm-hmm.
fucking there. Because it's changed a lot in the years past. So there it is. We pull that up. And some of this is already out, actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this in a comment. I'm going to pull it up in the screen. So there's
Nice.
that. Okay. So this is Tamriel Rebuilt. This area
Mm-hmm.
here, the island and that little smaller island up north, right?
Yep.
That is the playable landmass that was in the base game. All
Okay.
of
Yeah,
this
I see
shit
it.
that is not dark, that is lightened up, everything from point 1B to 1A and down by
Mm-hmm.
because they're adding number 3, they'll be adding that place actually this December or next January. All of this is playable content that the mod has added.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, like, do you feel like I see some people in the chat saying this too? Like, do you feel now if you haven't gotten to Morrowind, like it's too late
No,
at this point? Because no, you don't think now. Why would you
absolutely
say
not.
that though? Like as a
Sure.
noob, like as a Morrowind noob, like
Sure.
explain that to me. You
So
know what I
the
mean? Like,
reason why is there is a sense of world building and alienness that even in the new Elder Scrolls games aren't there. There's a little bit of a disconnect for new players when they first show up
mm-hmm,
because their weapons won't
mm-hmm.
hit every time. Because
I was gonna
Morrowind,
say,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
Morrowind is a genuine role playing game. What I mean by that is it's dice rolls. Everything is dice rolls, but the problems that main players have is that they'll build their character badly, which again,
mm-hmm,
tutorial can do a better job of showing them that. As long as you have a 40 to 50 in your weapon skill, you will be able to hit and you don't go around with a 0 fatigue bar, you will be
mm-hmm.
able to hit things. And so with a
Okay.
little bit of guidance from senior players, and we're glad to do it, Morrowind, not only will it become a game that has almost nothing in terms of inhibitions for you playing it, it will become your favorite. It will bar none become your favorite game in the series. At the end of the game, when you are standing there under Red Mountain talking to
Okay.
Dagoth and you can feel the thousands of years of history between you and him as you have that final epic showdown. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like all that lore, all that history building up into that final encounter. Absolutely nothing like it. There, I
Yeah, I
just, I
feel
just,
you,
I
man.
just, I
Well,
just
that's
went,
cool. Hey, there you go,
"Bleh."
man. Hey, Bethesda, get on board with this guy, right? Come on. He's selling me on it. Let's go.
It's good.
You know?
It's good. And if you need any help, I can give you my mod list. I'll mod the fucking
Cool,
game for you.
man.
You
Hey,
got to get
we'll
into it.
see, man. Hey, why not? You know what I mean? Like, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'm always down for new experiences, and I like Skyrim, so why not?
Oh yeah, no, Skyrim's good, but there's just nothing like Morrowind.
No, I know when you're invested. It's not only you're not only talking about the game now. You're talking about the lore. You're talking about the
Oh
world.
yeah, oh, and
That's a
it's there.
different bond. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? That's a different bond.
100%. So look
You
at
know
the
what I mean?
chat
So,
here. We're going to read through chat.
mhm.
Brooke Barnes says, hello, the Duchess has arrived. So you might not know this. Brooke Barnes may be related to royalty, actually distantly. So we always joke and we call her the Duchess. It's because she's
Nice,
literal, might be literal royalty. And I think that's you,
nice.
Jonathan. I think that's you, Jonathan
Yeah,
Q, saying, what's
yeah,
up to the
yeah, yeah,
Duchess?
yeah.
Scorpio Cesar Cates is on my way to work tonight, stopping by to say hello to peeps as I gas up. Awesome, man. Have a safe drive as always. Do not get liquored up. Do not get liquored up while you do that. And
Yes, do
Scorpio's
not get
response,
liquored up.
yes. He says, nope, and he's good. Drinking dark roast coffee with hazelnut creamer from Quick Check. That's the way to
Ooh,
do it, man.
that sounds good. That
Does
sounds
sound
good.
good. Any kind of dark roast, always nice.
Yeah,
Britt
man.
Barnes saying hi back, saying she's doing good. Lunatic Edit said, did someone say mods? We did. Well, Lunatic
We
Edit,
did.
actually, he's in the Discord. You'll see him in the bar in my Discord, Outer Heavenly
Oh,
Bar.
nice,
It's not
nice,
my Discord, but
nice.
it's the bar it's a digital bar I run.
Yeah, I got you.
But anyway, Lunatic Edit is working on a Diablo 2 free source engine. He's building it.
Sweet,
So he's
sweet.
building an engine for that. And then he also says in 25% sketchy kids on Morrowind. Yeah. Yeah, there's always some with
That's
any
another
mod.
community that's crazy, man. That Diablo community is nuts.
Dude, they do
So
great
I
stuff. Yeah.
props to Diablo community.
Yeah, Diablo community. So there's certain communities like I mean, Minecraft is tops, even as a Morrowind player.
Of course,
We're not
yeah,
fucking touching Minecraft modding. I just saw one Minecraft mod literally where they turned it into like an RTS grand strategy game.
That's
With the
nuts. That's
isometric camera
insane.
over everything and it's crazy.
It is pretty cool what they're doing with that.
It
Though.
is. It's
Whether you like
really
Minecraft or not, that's pretty dope.
Lunatic Edit also, yes, says mods and says that's why they don't want to touch Morrowind. True. Todd Howard is literally on record as saying he's terrified of Morrowind. Absolutely terrified. Because they're like, well, you're going to remake that? And he's like, no, there are modders out there literally doing and he's
I was
right.
gonna say the community's doing it for me. Why do I have to do it?
Community's building it for us. There is a Morrowind being built in the Skyrim engine already called Skywind. Already happening. There is
cool.
Tamriel Rebuilt, which Todd Howard said that team at this point has spent more time learning Morrowind's engine than we did when we were working on the fucking game. They probably know more about it than we do. Number
That's
3,
crazy.
I have, and this is Todd Howard. This is their pitch man. This is Mr. Salesman.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies, little Todd Howard. But even he has a moment of honesty when he says, I'm not sure we could do it justice. And he's right.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, this has been years and years and years now. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is, I believe him when he says that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad he said that.
He says, I mean, that's why Bethesda doesn't want to mess with it. Yeah. Now, Morrowind will always be the in case of fire, break glass meme. Like, that'll be their version of that, like FF7 is for Square. So if they get in dire straits, they might. But I know Todd is very protective of his baby, and Morrowind is like that guy's baby. Like that was the last game. That was the last game in the series he had direct executive input over, I believe. So yeah, it was him and Ken Ralston and Michael Kirkbride was the main writer on Morrowind. That
I'm interested to see what they do with Elder Scrolls 6, but who knows when that comes.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Bethesda's literally telling us that it's not going to live up to expectations. Like, you know, a guy, it's like that literally just recently came out and he was like,
I mean, is that even possible at this point with like all the mods? And it's kind of impossible at this point.
Yeah,
you know?
You've got Skyrim, which is one of the best selling games of all time. Like, yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's not. It's even on freaking Alexa, right? They were joking
It's on
about
my fucking smart fridge. I can go play it while I'm getting ice for my drink.
Exactly. That's funny.
So pizza
Alexa, play Skyrim for me.
pizza review time says VGMobster.
Yeah. What's good,
Hey,
Adam?
thanks for
What's up?
coming in, pizza. Love having you, man. And then
What's
yeah,
up?
say what's good, Adam. And then Lunatic Edit says Open Morrowind is a great way to play these days. Yeah, so there's the vanilla engine, which old heads like me play on. Then there's this
Mm-hmm.
whole other engine, and it's a pretty good starting point. There are some mods not available to Open Morrowind yet, but I would
Mm-hmm.
probably steer you toward the Open Morrowind engine, in terms of probably being the best way to play out of the starting
Okay.
gate. It's a much more stable experience. Um,
Okay.
and then
That's
Lunatic
fair.
Edit says Morrowind is a vibe, and that it is. That's probably actually the best explanation for Morrowind, probably even better than mine. It's just to say, you know what, Morrowind is just a vibe.
There we go.
And if you're interested, Mobster, I have a whole Let's Play series where I'm playing through the game. You can kind of see a little bit about what it's like.
Nice. Yeah, man. I'll
So
definitely check it out. See
yeah,
from that perspective. See what's going on for sure.
so that's what I've been up to, and what I'm always up to is Morrowind. What have you been up to, homie?
Yeah, man, lots going on here. It's crazy. When I came on Twitter, the community, man, YouTube and X, they've just been like the video game community. That's where I've met like so many great people. I've been through a lot of things the last couple years, and it was
Sure.
really great to just meet the video game community. And the thing that I did before I came in here was I was always into music.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Like, I think it's time for me to go back into music. But I was like, you know what? Like, I usually did hip hop, but I'm like, the video game community has been such an inspiration to me, and they've just been there. I've actually met a lot of people that I'm friends with on Twitter. Like, I've met them in real life, as well, since then. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think I should do a project just showing love to the medium that's really got me through some of the hardest times of my life. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do an album based off of video games, like a theme on it.
Hell yeah, man.
So I just finished it. Finished the whole thing. It's ready to go. It's gonna launch November 7th. It's called the VGLP. And I got 12 tracks on it. It was only supposed to be an EP. I was only going to do like 6 tracks, but I just had so many ideas, and I got so many great collaborations from the community,
Hell yeah,
from
dude.
people all across the country. And it's been so cool, man, because when I was originally doing music, pre-COVID and stuff, most of the time I would just be in the studio doing it. But now, since COVID, like, one of the benefits is that everything has just been improved, like digitally transferring music, recording, sharing, mastering, collaborating online. So it really opened up doors to collaborate with people from like California, from Texas, Florida, Connecticut, like all over the place, places that I wouldn't even really be able to go to record with, but I'm able to do that with them now. And they're all also members of the community who really
Badass.
love gaming. They love playing games, and it's been important for them in their lives too. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to do something that was a quality product, but gamers that, even if you don't like gaming, like if you just know of like famous franchises, like I have songs based off Resident Evil, NBA Jam, one of my favorite sports games of all time.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. Legend of Zelda, Hellblade. Pretty much a song that has like all weapons of video games, which spans like all these different video games. So I'm really excited about it because I wanted to make a project that sounded like, something you would hear off of a mainstream artist, but with video games as the theme for it. So I really think the community is going to like it, whether you like hip hop or not. Some of the songs are more like mainstream sounding. Some are I'm originally from New York, so like a little more of that New York East Coast sound.
Okay.
And also some R&B tracks in there. So there's something for everybody. And then even if you don't vibe with the music, like if you like some of these famous franchises and IP, you're definitely going to love it because it's going to resonate with you. So Yeah, man, I'm like super excited about it. I can't wait for people to hear it and just get feedback. I just want my goal for the project is just to like interact with the community, see what they think about it, and kind of get inspired from it. See some of the videos. I did 4 videos for it. Collaborating with like a lot of like game streamers as well on it. So it should be really fun, and I'm hoping people really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, it should be awesome. And if you have a link for it, if you'll throw that link down
Yeah,
in
man.
our group chat,
Yeah, I'll
and then
definitely drop that in the chat.
oh
Yep, for
yeah,
sure.
drop that in the chat for everybody, and then I'll also have it at the end of the video. We're gonna update not only his YouTube channel and his Twitter. We'll throw that link out there too for everybody, so you know exactly
Yeah,
where to
man.
get it when it drops. I caught a little bit of a sneak preview on that podcast you did about a month ago. You were on a
Okay,
podcast,
nice.
and
Nice. With
it's
CJ.
got a good fucking sound. Yeah, that was a good podcast. That was a good cast, man.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I love them, man. Shout out to Cardiac Drop,
Hell yeah,
TJ. Love those guys, man. They've been
that was a
super
good cast.
supportive of me. Yeah, they've been super supportive of me, throughout, and they just always have me on. I was like one of his first podcast guys, so all love to those guys. I mean, they're from Boston. They like the Red Sox. That's a little trepidation for me, but other than that, they cool. So
Right, but we can
yeah,
bury that hatchet long enough.
exactly. We'll bury the hatchet for this project, but in baseball, we might not go to the same game.
Everybody gets one. Yep.
Exactly.
So,
but yeah, man, so super excited for it. Yeah, it's gonna be on like all your streaming platforms. Then all the videos will be on my YouTube channel. So.
And you got some good shit. You got some Streets of Rage tracks on there. Which Streets of Rage
Yeah,
2 is one of my
man.
favorite fucking soundtracks of all
Dude,
time.
Streets of Rage 2. I just posted that on my X. Streets of Rage 2 is in my top 3 soundtracks. Like the soundtrack is just
so good.
You could bang that today and it sounds just as good.
Oh yeah,
as when it came out. It's incredible, man.
Sega,
I
Sega
love
Genesis
that
in general
soundtrack.
was fucking absolutely an underrated.
That was
Sega
my first
Genesis.
console, man. It's the first console I owned. So I got love for
one.
Genesis, man.
That's
like
a
for
good
real.
first
And then
console.
yeah, and on that track, I have 2 super talented artists on there. Action Jack, and Switchbit. Oh my god. And the song is crazy because you like you said, Shoots of Rage is one of your songs. So one of your games. You know what I'm talking about. We each on each verse, we each take a character from the game.
Oh, okay.
So people who know the game are gonna be like, oh shoot, like he dropped that character in there, like he dropped that character. Like
nice. So
we try to make it seem like that.
There too, man.
Yeah. So we try to like, and then the video, we shot a video for it, and it's crazy because in the video, like we made it seem like each character, like when they're rhyming, they actually have like health bars while they're rhyming. So it seems like you're kind of like in part of the game, like they're rapping inside of the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I think people are really gonna like that. That track it's gritty, but I had to do that because that's the vibe of the game. So I had to stay true to the vibe of the game.
Which character did you choose?
Axel, man. I had to go Axel. I had to start off strong.
Axel. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I had to start off with Axel, the figurehead. The other two are classic though, so like they're not as common. So that's pretty cool. We all got different. We all got creative with it. So
I was gonna say, got some good one. Anybody pick Rue?
Maybe you got to see, man. November 7th, and it's crazy because like what I did is I kind of like I took inspiration from the character designs, but then I kind of flipped them like cartoon style and made it like in the spirit of those characters, but not exactly them. Obviously, just for copyright, but also just to be creative. So I think people are really gonna like it, man. I'm super excited for that track. That's gonna be the second video that drops. I'm super excited.
Oh, me too. Me too, man.
Yeah, man. I'll tag you on. I mean, we're gonna have watch parties and stuff, so it'll be super fun, man.
Well, fuck yeah,
definitely come through.
We'll do one at the bar. We'll do a watch party.
Yeah, hey, dude, let's do it, man. I'm always down, man. Super cool, man. Yeah, so yeah, I'm super excited. I hope people give it a chance, and that's all I can ask for. Again, I just trying to make sure the production quality was up there, that I stayed true like to the stories and the lore of the games, and then had the production that matched like the world. That was like real important to me because I wanted people like on this track I have from Resident Evil. It's called Raccoon City, and I pretty much did the track based off of somebody who's in right near the police station, like right in the middle of Raccoon City
Sure.
during the outbreak. So they're kind of like showing what they're seeing. They're describing, the chaos that's going on, like all the, cars, being
Right.
exploded, the
Absolute
zombies.
bedlam.
So just like, what would a person in Raccoon City like describe their experience as? So that's pretty much the approach I took with it. So I try like those type of things to make it like, okay, it's an original story, but it's in like the realm and the world of the game. So that's like kind of the approach I took,
Yeah, and basically it sounds like that, once again, and this is a very important aspect of music and fan projects in general, is that
Yeah.
again, it's an expansion on the lore from the perspective that you might not see in the game. So you're not seeing it from these stars officers or Chris's sister. Now you're seeing it from the boots of somebody who's literally just woke up and their
Trying to get the
life has
hell out
changed.
of there. Like
Yeah,
they don't know what the hell's going on. They're just like a citizen in
yeah,
Raccoon
their
City. Like,
their life
what
has
the
fucking
fuck is
changed
going on?
forever,
Yeah,
and might be very
exactly.
shortly.
So
So
yeah, so that's
it's
what I mean. Like, I'm just excited to I try to do it like that, just so like people will know the lore, but they're getting an original take on it.
that's awesome, man. Because I and again, this is becoming a less hot take over time, but I'm one that has always said the most important in terms of sustaining interest and in terms of the immortal nature of art, video games in particular being an art that is a collaborative. It's got a visual element, it's got an audio
Hmm.
element, it's got a feels element. And I have always been of the opinion that the most important aspect, maybe even more important than gameplay, is music.
Yeah, man, it
It's
just
the
sets
music,
the
man.
scene. Like I feel like when, especially at the end of that Raccoon City track, what I did for the third, like the pretty much the outro of the track, is I pretty much then you jump into the stars, like you pretty much get on the walkie-talkie with a Raccoon City PD
Nice.
actually stalking like a mutated zombie like
Hmm.
inside of it. So you're pretty much like hearing over the walkie-talkie them trying to get one of the umbrella mutants out. So
Hmm.
I think it'll be dope. I think people that like understand the games are gonna get like even more out of it.
The places fans are taking these worlds and these stories are incredible.
Oh yeah, dude, it's
Have you ever
insane,
have
bro.
you ever seen what the Mega Man music community is up to and how amazing that shit is,
I'm sure, dude. Like Mega Man's like one of those like
bro?
pillar IPs. So I can't even imagine. Like
Bro,
whatever I can think of, they're doing it better. Let's just put it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
you've got to
it's boundless.
the Proto Men Part 1 and Part 2. You've got to check it out. It's a
Oh yeah,
concept
I'll
album.
definitely. I'm
Literally
about to do that
tells
for
like the
sure.
whole legend. It's so fucking good. You've got that
Nice.
going on. You've got people like I got to give a shout out to Master Sword Music and some of the awesome
Yep,
stuff he does.
that's right. I'm working with him too, man.
Really?
TJ
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
TJ, I'm doing it in collaboration with him. TJ's on my lead single, Rev It Up. So that's
Beautiful. No, he's very
yeah,
talented.
yeah. So shout out to TJ. He was gonna be here tonight. He was gonna pop in as a special, but he had a new baby, so
Oh, we
he's
totally
gotta
understand that, and
yeah,
that's what I love
so he's
about
gotta
his
mix
music
in.
is he weaves in the game, he weaves in the game elements as well as elements from his own life going on, and so he's
Yeah,
not
man.
not
He's
only
he's
is
super talented,
just like
bro.
any good player, not only is he forwarding a game's narrative, but he's telling his own story as well.
Mhm. Yeah, dude. He's so talented. And for me, he produced a track on the album and he featured on two of them. So yeah, I'll show off some of the bling that we got. Master Sword Music right there.
I
So
love
we're
it.
represented. So we're represented. Master
Oh,
Sword.
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. So this is like a collab project with him because when I first started, it was crazy. I wasn't even gonna do like get into the music thing. And then I saw him and Switchbit doing Final Fantasy freestyles
Nice.
online. And then I was
Check
like,
that
yo, I
out.
got to get a part of this. Like, that's pretty dope. So then I jumped on a couple of the compilation projects. I've been doing some features, and then I was like, yo, I'm ready, man. Like, let's just go do the full length. So he's been helping me a lot. He produced one of the tracks. He's on two of them. Guy's super talented. Shout out to TJ. That's my boy right there. So.
Man, I'll tell you, gaming is inspiring a lot of the hip hop scene. Like more and more.
Yeah, man. Well, it's you know what it is like when you, and that's the other thing. And this is like kind of a criticism I have of like Hollywood with games,
Sure.
and why I think like independents are better at this
Okay.
than the actual like Hollywoods, is because Hollywood doesn't realize, or they don't tap in enough into the lore that the game is already established when they make those games. Like, think about like the Hollywood live action Resident Evil games, like the lore, like inside of the mansion, in the diary entries, like none of that is in the game. None of that is in the live action.
That's because the director
like,
didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but to me, like the people that play the games, that's why one of the main reasons we love the game. Like, is because we're sucked into the world. It's the little details.
Hollywood doesn't care about that. Hollywood, that director, literally, I think it's Wes Anderson. His whole thing is
Wes Anderson.
I'm gonna put my hot wife in the movies, and I'm gonna just do a vehicle for my hot wife to do crazy shit. Essentially, is what is.
Yeah, but like when you what I'm saying is the demo of the people that bought the games are like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, this is nothing like the Resident Evil I play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I feel like the independents. Like, we love the games. Exactly. We play the games. Like, we know the games. We know the lore. We know the world. We know the characters. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So when we do a project, it's like a love letter to the games. Like, we represent the game properly. Whereas the Hollywood, they're just like, oh, whatever. It's just an end to a means to, get some action sequences.
Oh yeah, no, they're Buffalo Bill. They're Buffalo Bill in that shit, homie. They are wearing that game as a skin. Like, they don't give a shit
for real. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's just like, it's something to slap on the poster, but there's no substance to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying for every project going forward, now that like they're making more money, maybe they will have a little more freedom in the storytelling process and stuff. But so far, yeah, I'm not thrilled with a lot of the results.
Well, Hollywood is crazy, right? And I'm not saying that Hollywood has produced some amazing art of their own, unique art of their own. But I feel like when Hollywood, I feel like they get arrogant. I feel like they feel like they can improve art, and they can't always do it. Case in point, and this is a little bit of an offshoot, but there's a movie called and I go to a lot of movies. Like, I try to see a movie at least once a week when a good one's out. So we saw a movie called Noah, right? Okay. And I remember just being fucking baffled at this movie, and it wasn't now irregardless of how anybody feels in terms of faith or belief or anything like that. I'm not coming at it from that angle. I'm coming at it from the angle of, this is a story that has existed for thousands of years. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. So to me, interest is one of the bars we look at for how good a piece of art or a piece of entertainment is. With a story like Noah's Ark, you're talking, or the Divine Comedy, or the Iliad, or the Odyssey, or Moby Dick, even if we get into the hundreds of years. These fucking directors who think that they can make a fucking improvement on a story that has lasted hundreds, thousands of years, you're going to improve Moby Dick. Motherfucker, you're going to improve the Noah's Ark story? A story that has been in the human consciousness for over 1,000 years? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, it's just they don't line the right talent with scripts a lot of times, and it's just super frustrating, bro. It's super frustrating.
No, me and my girl were just laughing. We were literally quoting, like, it's like, oh yeah, remember the part in the story where Stowaway Kane is on the boat and like he like starts eating the animals? Remember that? Oh, remember the knife fight that Stowaway Kane had with Noah on the boat? Remember that?
Oh yeah, of course. That's detailed. Or in the Old Testament. Yo, like, bro, let me like, it's crazy. Like, you get stories like that, and then you get stories like this one. Like, you get stories like this. Like, when I was living in New York, I heard through the grapevine that this independent movie that was, it had Spanish, it was in Sean Spanish, and it had subtitles. And I was like, you know what? they're saying this movie is as good, if not better, than Goodfellas, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go see
That's
this
pretty high
movie. Like,
praise.
what the hell is this movie? And then I saw City of God, bro. City of God
Okay.
was just absolutely incredible, and like I saw it at a little
City of God.
art
Okay.
house movie theater in Connecticut. I drove all the way just to see this movie, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in a movie theater. Like the cinematography, the acting, like
I'm writing that
the
down.
you know the way the editing, the writing, like everything about this movie just hit. Like it hit like a ton of bricks. And I was like, man, everything that this movie gets, it deserves, and it deserves even more than that. You know what I'm saying? So like every
Yeah.
once in a while you get that, like one of those type of experiences too, and you're like, man, this is what I watch movies for. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
something like that, something that's gonna break new ground and tell things in a revolutionary and ultra stylized way. You know what I'm saying? So
For me, it was a movie called
crazy.
No Man's Land. So this is a
Okay.
Serbian picture. It's like Serbian or Croatian. It's got the
Nice.
subtitles too. And so
Hmm.
this is taking place during the Kosovo War, essentially, right? And it's during that period. And the reason it's called No Man's Land is there's a person who basically stumbles upon, they have a battle, and it's this soldier he ends up falling on one of these spring mines, right? So he's laying there.
Okay.
He can't get off the mine because if he rolls off the mine, it pulps up in the air and the shrapnel goes everywhere and it's going to kill him. So he is
Oh my
literally
god.
stuck he's laying down on this spring mine, and it's him and a soldier from the other side
Wow.
that is
That's
also
wild.
trapped in this situation because if he moves, it's going to kill them both. So they're
Wow.
put in a position where they have to work together in order to not die. And essentially, they
That's
start to
awesome.
learn a little bit about one another. And by the end of the movie, they're sitting there talking to each other as men, as human beings, as fucking people. And they can't even remember what the fuck they were even fighting about to begin with.
Wow. What's the name of that movie again? I gotta
No
check that
man's
out.
land. No man's land.
No Man's Land. Okay, and
Yeah.
it's a
It's
foreign
a
movie.
foreign
Okay.
film. Yeah, it's I think it's Croatian or Serbian. I'm not sure which. It was made by one of the countries that fought in that war. And it
Wow,
is
that's great. That sounds awesome.
like literally as they start to look at each other as people, and then it becomes a truly just nail biting sad. I won't spoil it, but basically they come to a point where instead of just like, oh, okay, well, in order to not die, we've got to work together on this, to literally like caring about whether either one of them. I it's awesome.
Wow.
It's
That sounds intense, bro. And I also like, I know I would like that movie because I love movies that are like usually like kind of self-confined their stories, and then you
it's
see
one
like
area
how
of the battlefield.
creative they
Yeah,
are. That's what I'm saying. Like, but
the
it's
whole
so
thing.
creative that they do that. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, the
Like, I'd
whole
like
thing.
to like I remember like there was a movie. I mean, it was a triple A. It was a big budget
Sure.
movie, but like when David Fincher, one of my favorite directors, even his concept for Panic Room, like the movie wasn't like great, but I respected his way. Like he wanted to like make the movies in like make it interesting inside of
Is that Jodie
predominantly one
Foster
room.
and Forrest
Yes,
Whitaker?
yes, yes, yes,
Awesome
yes.
talent behind that project too. That was David
Dude,
Fincher?
oh my god.
Fuck
David
me.
Fincher.
Okay.
Yeah, it was David Fincher. And one of my favorite directors, man. So
Oh, David Fincher's
um
great.
he is, yeah, dude. Seven is still, it still gives me chills. It's that good. I still love
Did
that
he do
movie.
Fight Club too?
Yes, he did. He did Fight Club. He did. He
Which
also did.
actually
He
elevated the
also
book in my
did.
opinion.
He also did with anybody here. It's a sin that he wasn't able to do the second movie. But having read all three of the girl with books, he did the girl with the dragon tattoo better than the book.
He's good at that. Yeah, he did.
His
I'd argue he did Fight Club
That's what
better
I'm
too.
saying. Like, and I mean that's so rare because you can flesh out, you can build your own like characters and stories and plot. They have so much more time in the plot
Right.
lines in the book. But for him, he just nailed it. Like he
He
got
does
the
that a lot.
essence of the book, and he got the essence, he got the tone. He's just so freaking talented,
Well,
man.
and that's
I
the
love
difference
David
between
Fincher.
a good director and an arrogant ass director. Is this director
Yeah.
says, "Hey, I respect that material. What can
Yep.
I?" And understands I'm competing with your imagination. There's nothing
Mhm.
fucking more powerful than the imagination of a novel reader. You're competing with that as a movie adaptation of that.
Mhm.
So he's like,
Yeah, and
I
he
respect the
crushed it.
material, and how can I use the medium of the silver screen to enhance or give respect to that material? And in doing
Uh-huh,
so,
100%.
elevates it because he's not trying to match the story beat for beat, and he's not trying to make his own story with their material. Instead, he takes their material and he applies it to the medium that is motion picture making.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I always tell people, I'm like, don't even read the book because the way that Fincher does it, it's so funny because if you read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the first like 11 chapters of the book are just the descriptions of the intertwinings and the relationships of the
Uh-huh.
family. The way that Fincher was able to do that in a visual medium, he pretty much pervade all that like through a couple scenes. Like he just set, like what the characters look like. He set the tone, the way the dialogue that he picked really showed like their personalities. So then he was just able to go into the meat of the story. I mean, that to me showed that he was such a talented director because so many of, like you said, so many other people, they just fumble that
They do.
so many times. Like they take the essence and the core out of the
Yeah,
movies.
they either do it beat by beat, shot for shot, or they do something that's
Yeah.
not even that fucking story.
Yeah, like I just feel like he nailed the essence and he made it into like it was still, like you said, it was still like you can tell it was a movie as opposed to the book, but
Mm-hmm.
all the core, all the essence, all the like the big beats that I got out of the book, like he brought them to life. And I give him credit for that, man. That was awesome. So
No,
super talented director. I love Fincher. That's
there's a
my
few
boy.
elite filmmakers that do that. Actually, one of my other filmmakers, Coppola, just put a movie out. It was
Ugh,
Megalopolis.
I gotta see it, man. As VGMobster, you know me. Godfather is like my favorite movie of all time. But yeah, I still have to see it. I know.
Yeah,
Again, I don't trust the critics. I want to watch it
don't
myself.
trust them. They
For
don't
that,
they
yeah,
didn't they don't have the proper they don't have the proper lens to properly interpret the movie. I can tell you that 100%. He was
yeah. So
coming at
I'm
that
probably
from
gonna like it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
he
I'm
was
probably gonna
coming
like
at
it.
that movie when he made that movie. He was coming at that from a very very specific perspective. And if you want to kind of look at an idea, read the anthropologist David Graeber, right? Guy that studies
Okay.
ancient civilization. That's what he does. Studies ancient human interaction. That's what he does. The sociology of ancient peoples.
Okay.
That's the angle he was coming at that from. It was a guarantee that the critics are never gonna fucking get that film. They're never gonna get it. That film will
And you know
become
what?
a classic.
He paid for it. He paid for it, so you can do whatever the hell he wants. He paid
Exactly.
for it.
And I'll tell you, that's a
He's like, I'm
whole
gonna do it the way I want.
well. He it,
You know
it-
what
it's
I mean?
not just it's not just that he chose to do that because he actually didn't choose to do it that way.
Hmm.
That's what's very interesting. Why I encourage people to go see the movie. He couldn't get studio funding for this project. Nobody would fund
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Imagine being fucking Francis, but there's something janky there, man. Imagine being Francis Ford Coppola and no one will finance your movie in Hollywood. Why
I
is that?
think,
Why
yeah,
is that?
yeah. Well, I mean, they probably were offering, but he wanted like a bigger budget. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like
I
he
mean, no, he's
probably
on
wanted,
he's on the record. He wanted financing, but they would
yeah.
not finance his movie. They would
But you
not
got to
support it.
respect him, man. He put up his own money, though. You got
He
to
did. He
respect
said, "I'm
that.
going
I
to
mean,
make this project, and it's great."
that's
It's it,
that's awesome. I
I
can't
don't
wait. I'm super
I
excited.
I don't think he hits every beat he meant to,
Okay, fair enough.
but and I don't think and I don't necessarily think he fully understood the material he was adapting. But the
Okay.
fact that he tried, it turned out way better than I ever could have thought it would.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I love
Given the
Coppola, man.
breadth of material. Oh, he's such a good storyteller too.
Oh, dude, like I love Apocalypse Now. I have like pretty much all the
Apocalypse
different
Now
versions of
is
Apocalypse Now.
yeah. Apocalypse Now might be my favorite movie. It's up
Oh,
there.
that's an incredible movie, dude. And then I also people slept on this. I really, really liked his Bram Stoker Dracula
Great movie.
take. I really like that movie. And the thing is, I really love the book as well. That's actually one of my favorite books, Bram Stoker's Dracula. That book is really cool because it's
Revolutionary.
pretty much told. Yeah, it's told through the diary entries. I thought that was so
You've
cool.
got
Just
newspaper
like
clippings, diaries. It's
it's so
the way it
cool,
was.
like the way they did
You're,
it.
you're piecing together the story as you read it.
You know, it was
You're
so, and then
piecing
like
together
I feel like
events
he
that
did
have
a
already
really
happened.
good job with it.
Oh, he
You know,
did.
I thought he did a really good job with it. And people sleep on that, but I thought that was a really good movie. So,
Yep, the 1-2 punch of ancient horror literature. They got Frankenstein.
yeah.
Frankenstein, a novel of monumentally big ideas. Like
Oh yeah,
just
for sure.
oh my gosh, both those novels still just completely
Oh,
in
they
the
still
human
hold
genre.
up. You could
Oh
read them today, and they're totally
yeah, yeah,
great. Like
Moby
they're still
Dick's another
awesome.
one. And I
Hmm.
always make this like people who want to make art, and I encourage whether you're a musician, whether you're a movie maker, a game maker, go
Hmm.
out and have interesting experiences. And if you can't afford to do that, read interesting books. You have to do it.
Hmm.
Moby Dick would never have been written. Do you know that that fucking guy in the 1800s, Herman Melville went on not one but 3 tours of a whaling vessel to write Moby Dick? Do you know how insane that was back in those days?
That's crazy.
Most
That's
people they
crazy.
would do one. They would get
Wow.
their whale if they lived, and they would get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
did
yeah. Of
3
course.
tours to write that book. 3.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's like De
That's a
Niro. Yeah,
badass
so many
motherfucker,
things with
man.
De Niro. Yeah, it's so many things with De Niro. Like for Taxi Driver, he actually became a taxi driver.
Yes.
Yeah, in New
Yes.
York City. For Cape Fear, he actually got Cape Fear. He rewired his jaw to like get that that tone from his voice. Like it's
Cape Fear's
incredible, man. He's
another one
done
that's
some
yeah.
awesome stuff.
Robert De Niro's he's
Yeah, I
he's
mean his old stuff is like legendary,
oh
man.
yeah,
Like for real.
for sure. Heck,
But
I even
yeah,
like some
man.
of the new funny. Like Meet the Parents funny as
Oh
shit.
yeah, yeah. No, I
But
enjoy that.
it's
I'm just saying,
but
like,
it's not
I'm talking about
legendary
like
like
his pinnacle,
Raging
yeah, his
Bull.
pinnacle stuff.
Yeah,
Oh
Raging
God, Raging
Bull
Bull,
or
man.
yeah, Taxi Driver. Fuck Vegas.
Goodfellas, man.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, Casino.
Casino,
You
that's what
know,
I'm thinking. Not Vegas, Casino.
yeah, Casino, man.
Good
Yeah, it's just,
stuff.
and another one too. King of Comedy is a really freaking good
I
movie,
haven't
man.
seen
If you
that.
haven't
I
seen
need
them,
to.
oh, if it's so funny because when I saw Joker,
Uh-huh.
with Joaquin Phoenix, I saw so much of King of Comedy in that movie.
Oh,
And
okay.
Todd Phillips, said that he was inspired, as you could tell if you watched the movie, totally inspired by Martin Scorsese, like 3,000%.
King of
But
Comedy.
if
I'm
you
gonna
if
go
you
on the
see,
watch
yeah, if
list.
you see King of Comedy, it's very like it's got similar vibes to Joker. Like it's pretty awesome when you see those two together. But yeah, definitely. If you haven't seen that movie, definitely check it out.
Have you
Because
seen the new have you seen the new Joker sequel yet?
I have not.
I haven't either.
Um, I haven't seen it. I will watch it because I love the first movie. Um,
Me too.
I don't like. I just felt I was like, there's just so many. Even like, not even just like the critics, like the standard critics. My YouTube critic guys didn't like it. A
Right.
lot of even like my friends that saw it. So I was like, I'm not gonna just go by like Rotten Tomato score. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna
No, no,
if I
bad
don't
idea.
go and see a movie, it's got to be like people I trust. That really like say it is not worth your time. Like they have to be really vehemently strong against it.
The
And
fucking
the
the fucking
majority is like
critics
vehemently
the
strong. So
critics
I was like, you
literally
know
called
what? I'll
Star
see
Wars.
it. I'll see it later. You know what I mean? Like I'll just see it later. Like I don't have to see this one like in the theater. But I will see it because I love Joaquin
Me too.
Phoenix. He's done some of my favorite movies. So
No, you can't. You
um
can't trust what critics say. They said Star Wars was the worst kind of trash in the
oh
world.
yeah, no, of course.
They don't know
Shawshank
anything.
Redemption, bro. Shawshank Redemption.
They didn't like Shawshank.
They didn't like Shawshank,
You're
bro.
shitting me.
I swear to
Get
God, the
the
movie
fuck out of
bombed in the
here.
theaters. It bombed in the theaters. It was horrible. It was like the only reason
It's one of the best
Shawshank even
fucking
got
movies
any
ever
sort of
made.
thing. Yeah, they didn't like it, bro. And then they didn't like it. It critically bombed in the theaters. And it's just the only time it got big was when it came to home video. Then it got a resurgence
It's like
because I think
Boondock
people
Saints.
just
Yeah.
wrote it off so early, that like they pulled it out of the theaters pretty early. And then when they saw it on VHS, the word of mouth just got insane.
Okay.
So, yeah, dude. Oh, that's why. Yeah, no, I don't trust 100%. I mean, Yeah, you got it. At the end of the day, especially for like you seem like a avid moviegoer and stuff. We have our own, we look for different things. Sometimes movies that don't click with others, we look at it from maybe a little more cinematic perspective,
Right.
and it kind of hits with us,
Mhm.
So I'm usually not that type of person, but I will definitely see it 100%.
Oh, definitely. All right, let's see. Chat's been building up a little bit. Let's take a look. So the monster's in the
Yep.
house. What's up, monster? What's going on?
Yeah, monsters in there, man. I
Gonna have
saw
to
that.
talk
Thanks for
about that.
stopping
Gonna
by,
have to
man.
talk about that recent video you made, buddy. That you turned me on to. Jonathan Drews saying, "What's good to Monster? Monster's just chilling, playing Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Hope y'all are good.
Yes, I just beat that. Great game.
Oh, you just
Great
beat it.
game. Just beat
Nice.
it. I just beat it. Yeah, I
Does,
just
does
beat
it
it.
maintain the early momentum? Because I'm in the early going.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it just
Beautiful.
builds and builds. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
It builds and the puzzles get better. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Definitely worth
happy for
finishing.
you then.
100%.
Then
100%.
yeah, the Proto Men are legends. Light up the night. Yeah, that's right, Monster.
Yeah.
Light Up the Night is good. I'll tell you the other song I like, the one from Wiley's perspective, The Hounds. The Hounds is a fucking banger. Um,
Nice.
there's the other one too. Oh, and just the opening track with the Western motif, really, really fucking good. That one hit me in the feels. Um, Shawshank Blew Up Rental. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
check
That's what I'm
that
saying.
story
Yeah.
out. That's see, sometimes the story behind how movies achieve cult status are
hmm
very interesting in and of themselves. So, yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have to
man.
check
Now
out
that movie
Shawshank.
is so good. Such a good movie. It's crazy.
It's another example of us finding the fucking thing too late. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's okay. Now it's appreciated. So, that's
right.
all that matters in
Well,
the
and
end.
again, it's not like
But
that was going to get a sequel anyway, right? Like, that's only a
oh no, no,
trans.
no, 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 no. Please,
Don't
please
do
don't
it. Yeah,
touch it.
the
Don't touch it.
Shawshank Redemption 2.
No,
No, no,
no. He pulls off another poster. I'm like, no, don't do
no,
that,
don't.
please.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, just leave that one
Um,
alone. Just leave that alone.
Monsters, the same thing as Carpenter's The Thing, another absolute fucking classic.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, the
That's
thing,
good,
those
man. Just the
effects still hold up.
yeah, and the cinematography in that movie is
Oh yeah.
bonkers. It's so good, so good. One of my
Oh,
faves. That's a great cinematography there, and just the John Carpenter, man. Just his ability to create tension and like just like drama in his scenes, like a lot of horror movie directors don't get to that. So shout out to John Carpenter, man.
oh, 100%. Also wanted to mention too, was checking your channel out earlier this week, and
Oh cool, man. Thanks.
you
Appreciate that, bro.
found and he's in my Discord as well. You found Rowan Noble Fox's Switch manuals. I see.
Yes, man. I'm really cool with him.
I got
I
all
did
those.
a Yeah, they're great. They're awesome, man. He's such a cool guy too. I've talked to him like on the phone and stuff. Super chill, and the manuals are such high quality, and especially for OG gamers.
Uh huh.
Like what we used to like. I remember when I was again in a Nintendo 64 game, I'd open up the box when I'm riding home with my mom from getting the game at
Yeah.
Toys R Us or something, and just reading it going home, just reading the manual because you were so excited you couldn't wait to put it in the system, and you would just flee through the manual, see like, and that was the thing too. Like in the manuals, there was so much like exclusive art that they would do just for the manuals in there. So it was cool, man. It's kind of like I tell people now with CDs, like you lose that. Now that we don't do CDs, you lose like the liner notes, you lose like that artwork, and you're chick like me. I was a hip hop guy growing up, so like seeing like who produced this track. Oh, it was recorded in this studio. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Uh
Like
huh.
kind of lose that now with the digital age of it. So yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying. That's why I appreciated those manuals so much, because like, dude, this is like when I was growing up physical, like this was a huge part of what made it special. You know what I mean?
It
So
is
I'm so glad
exactly.
he's doing that.
And one of the things I talk about lately is I feel like the games industry now, because they're in such a comfortable position as one of the world's foremost entertainment venues,
hmm
they don't seem to be interested in fighting against disinterest anymore. And I think this is going to be a problem for the video game industry as we move into bad macroeconomics, right? If you look at what's
hmm
going on, the macroeconomic situation continues to get more unstable. Geopolitical situation continues to get more unstable, and that impacts business. It means people have less money, and it means people have to pick and choose where their money goes. The
hmm
more that they digitize, whether it's stripping manuals out or
hmm
the more they digitize, I remember buying a copy of Ultima 7 The Black Gate that came with a fucking cloth map, came with an entire
Hmm.
art book, came with a lore book, um, beautiful jewel case, a black box case. The more you
Nice.
digitize, so they removed the cloth maps, and they went to paper maps, and they went to no maps. Then they took the manual away. Now they
Yeah.
literally have cases that have fucking holes in the cases. Like the cases are these flimsy, hole-filled pieces of shit. I'll never forget buying Wii U game, or not, or seeing a Wii U game, mind
Hmm.
you, on the game store. And literally, it had like in the plastic, if you like bend it, you can see the actual blue plastic case. There's these
Yeah.
big holes all over the fucking case where they're scrimping money
That's
to save on
crazy.
the fucking plastic. And it's just like,
I
you
know. It's like, come
guys,
on, bro. Like, yeah, you guys are stripping the heart and soul out of the release. You know what I'm
what you're
saying?
doing,
Like,
you're
it
making
sucks.
gaming
Like,
less special, is what you're doing. But the good
yeah, and
news,
like, yeah, yeah. Keep going. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. The good news is there's people like Rowan that are going to
Hmm.
pick up the money they leave on the table. So
Dude,
we're
it's
the
great.
kind of
Shout out
audience.
to Roa, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him. He's such a nice
Oh,
guy.
it's really taken off, and I told him it was going to take off. I told him, I said,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are doing something that is a service that people want, and the only thing you need is word of mouth, and you'll get there.
Yeah, man. And I was happy to give it to him on my channel.
Me
So
too.
shout out, man. Shout out to
No,
him.
you
So
do it literally doing miracle work with that. Just keeping this fighting disinterest in this hobby.
yeah, it's like it's just I mean, like you're saying, like, and then when you get a good release now, it's like even more special. So like when I got the Octopath, the Wayfarers edition,
Oh,
that's
that
one
was
of the
so
best
good,
special editions I ever had. I was like, this is what it should be. This is what a collector's
buddy.
edition
Yeah,
should be. You know what
I
I'm
didn't
saying? Like,
splurge on that because I didn't
oh, it's so
expect
good.
anything out of
So
it. Yeah,
good.
I kick myself in the ass every day, and one day I'm gonna have to bite the fucking bullet. I'm just gonna have to buy it. I'm gonna have to
Oh
buy
yeah,
it.
I got it. I didn't get it at launch. I got
I
it
didn't
like
either.
after the fact, but it was I was so glad I had it. I was like, that's one of the ones like I have to have in my collection. I also have I got the Doom 64, the Doom 64 in the 64 box because that I never even
Hmm.
thought that game would ever come back again. So I was like, I have to support it. That's one of my favorite Doom games ever.
One of the great
So that was really
things
dope.
that Nintendo Switch does is, I've always said that a good system has three pillars. I call it Zoo's tripod. It's got one, original games, original IPs. Number two, sequels to successful IPs. Number three, classic games. It's got all three. It's Zoo's tripod.
Hmm.
The Switch has
Oh yeah.
great original games. Great
Hmm.
original games.
Yep.
It's got, I think, Emio the Smiling Man just got put out. You've got
Yes.
Arms. You've got all these great original experiences. You've got
Odyssey, Breath of the
Odyssey,
Wild,
Breath
Tears
of
of
the
the Kingdom.
yeah,
Yeah, like on and
you've got
on
the
and on.
successful franchises locked the fuck down, and then you've
Yeah.
got classic games. The Switch is quickly becoming a on the go history museum of the greatest
Hmm.
games of all prior generations.
Doom 64, Duke Nukem. Like I grew up, I used to
Yeah.
play Duke Nukem on DOS, man, like back in the day, like and to have that back again. Even they're releasing now Rise of the Triad. I remember that game and I was like, oh my God, like I totally forgot about it because that was like, during the Duke Nukem like craze. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that game. And then like, so many of these other like great IP that are like coming back either as remasters, like Night Dive is doing great jobs with the remasters and stuff, or even just like ports of games that we never thought, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Like we never thought that game would ever come back
Hmm.
because of licensing issues, and now it's like back. Awesome beat 'em up game,
And on
like
physical.
games like that, like super cool.
And the amount of physical games from like again, that's why I have over 400 of them physically.
Yeah,
It is just the what's what of like the greatest games from across time in a physical
so cool.
format, a format you never. If you had told me that Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne was going to get a fucking physical cartridge on
You
the
were like,
Switch,
no,
no, get the
no.
fuck out of here. That's a long. There it is. There it is. Or every Final Fantasy game, every single Final Fantasy game I give a fuck about,
Yeah, pretty
everyone.
much. Yeah, yeah. That's crazy.
Like, in other words, the whole series except 13 and
And
15 and 16.
you're right, man, because throughout like halfway through like the Switch console, I was still like, I'm still going with Super Nintendo as my favorite,
No, not
Nintendo
anymore.
system. And I was like, and then year 5, and then year
Yeah,
6,
yeah.
and year 7. I'm like, nah, I can't. I'm sorry, I gotta go Switch
It's
now.
the
Year
Switch.
7, I gotta go Switch. Like
It's
I
the
love my
Switch.
Super Nintendo, respect to Super Nintendo, but Switch is just, and it's so funny, man, because I talk to people online, and it's crazy because I don't realize how young a lot of my followers are on X and stuff, and people that comment on my YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I
We're
remember
baby
the only
gamers,
way
man.
I could play portable Mortal Kombat was on a yellow and black Game Boy screen. And you guys are complaining about the graphics in 11 for a portable console? Like, are you smoking something? Like, you don't know like what we used to go through back in the day to
No,
play like
of course
portable
not.
games. Like even Mortal Kombat on Game Gear, where like that was in color, but it was like 5 frames a second. Like, people don't realize. I'm like, dude,
it
this
had
is like
half-hour
mind
battery
blowing.
life.
Yeah, and dude, Switch can run Crisis.
Switch
Like,
can run. Switch
seriously.
can run Crisis. Switch can
They
run
can
The
run
Witcher 3.
Crisis.
That's why all these people are
Yes,
like, "Oh, Switch can't run that." Motherfucker, it runs Crisis, which some PCs still can't fucking do.
exactly. I'm like, dude, shut
And it
up.
runs The Witcher 3.
Yes, yes.
I don't want to hear
Dude,
it.
I'm replaying Doom 2016 on Steam Deck right now.
Ending Eternal.
But Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal on Switch are like black magic voodoo.
Yes.
I don't know how they got it on there. Like, shout out,
I'll tell you,
man. Like,
because they wanted it on there. And that's my
yes,
thing.
Panic Button, man. Respect to Panic Button.
Don't
They're freaking geniuses.
never fucking tell me that blank game can't make it on Switch. It can.
Yeah,
You have made a calculation as a corporation that it's either not worth it or that you just don't want to. You can make
exactly, man.
any
Shout
game.
out.
You can make any game. They got fucking Ark Survival Evolve on the Switch. Wasn't a good idea. Shouldn't have done it, but they got it on there.
The second version they released is not as bad though. The second version is not as bad.
90% digital though. It's not on the
Yeah.
It's like 180 gigabyte.
They still
they got it.
They got it. Still technically got it. Whatever. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm really excited about Switch 2, because I feel with Switch 2, the devs, like, Modern Vintage Gamer and a couple like devs that I know in the industry, they're saying that one of the biggest bottlenecks was just the memory.
Yeah.
They're like, we just couldn't do it because the memory, like, we couldn't even squeeze anything out of it. So to have more of that overhead, at least on the memory side, like, now you're working with, even if you get double of what you had before, or 3/4, like a 60% boost, like,
sure,
they'll be able to do so much more with that. So that's why I'm excited for it, because I feel like they're, now they know the value proposition. They know the Switch is a tried and true concept. It's gonna be successful. So like, hey, let's put the time and effort in, because we didn't do it last time and we got screwed. So let's do it this time right from the jump.
Well,
and that's why I think it's going in.
I think you're right that game companies are gonna jump all in on the Switch 2. I think that's a given. But I don't necessarily know that it's a given. I'm a contrarian on this. I don't necessarily know if it's a given that the Switch 2 is going to be a monumental success.
Well, it's hard to say right now until we get the official reveal.
Exactly. There's too much unknown for one.
It's he said, she said right now. Yeah. There's nothing concrete. Like, until I get a spec sheet, until I know the backwards compatibility, official, like, what it is.
Well, even all that aside,
to say, but
even all that aside, let's say we get exactly what we're hoping it is. Which, to me, I'll spell what I hope it is, and you can tell me if you agree. I hope it's got backwards compatibility.
100%.
I hope that DLSS, or whatever that miracle technology OJ talks about,
the super sampling. Yeah,
I hope that's on there. I hope it's less than $500. It better be. That's going to be tough, by the way.
What if we do multiple SKUs?
We can. One of them's got to be under $500.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
One
If
of
you have
them's
one
got to be.
SKU that's $3.99 and one that's $4.99.
Sure. And but even with all that,
That's
so
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're going to do 2 SKUs. That's what I'm thinking. But
the Nintendo Switch was a blue ocean, was a disruptive product that set sail on a blue ocean during good economic times.
mhm.
The Switch
Correct.
2,
No,
yeah,
oh, dude, I get it. I
yeah,
get it. But
yeah.
what I'm saying is like, because the thing that Nintendo has right now that they didn't have in the past console generations
Hmm.
is one, they, they do have their biggest install base, pretty much, like, pretty much their biggest
The
install
Switch
base. They're
has it,
going
yeah.
in.
The
Yeah,
Switch
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Two, they're their biggest install base. And then they also have, this is something that the Nintendo history, their home consoles, especially a year and a half to a year before the new console came, they just cut it off.
They did.
It was dead. Like you couldn't even use them as like freaking,
Nope.
like paperweights at that point.
Well, yeah, exactly.
This time they have the momentum going in. I mean, look at the games released this year. And if
Oh,
it
so good.
comes out next year, they're going right into it and they're maintaining that. And especially on the software side, they're maintaining that momentum. That's something they've never done in their past
Do you
consoles. You know
feel
what I'm
like that
saying?
I do, but do you feel like they might be a victim of their own massive success here? And what I mean by that is I don't actually think the biggest competition that Switch has is going to be Sony or Microsoft. I don't know what the fuck those guys are doing anymore at this point. I think they're both going
Yeah.
to get cannibalized by the
I think
PC hog.
PS5 is the worst
Oh, it's
Sony
bad.
console that they've released.
It's
My
so
opinion, but
bad. It's so bad what's going on with those two, which is why PC is eating their lunch. PC is going to cannibalize their
mhm,
market. It's going to happen very quickly.
yeah.
I actually think the Nintendo Switch is big or Switch Next. I think its biggest competitor
Mhm.
is the Nintendo Switch. How are you going to move over 144 million happy customers who are at a point where this is a good enough? Graphically, this is good enough. The diminishing returns of graphics are well known. How are you going to move the Mario Kart soccer mom who loves Mario Kart 8 and it's good enough? How do you move her over to the Switch 2 or the Switch Next? How do you do that?
What you were talking about, backwards compatibility is going to
That
be
helps.
huge.
It's the only way.
It's gonna be huge
You don't
because
have a
even
prayer without it.
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. For me, if it doesn't have full physical backwards compatibility, and if your digital accounts don't carry over,
Which they will.
then
They've
yeah,
already said
that's
they will.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what I'm saying, like with everything though, like they say
Yes.
the accounts are carrying over, but is
But are the
everything
games?
carrying over?
That's a fair question, actually. Yeah.
You
Are
know
the
what I mean?
games?
So yeah, your accounts are, but are all the games and all their aspects? We don't know. They haven't said that yet. See,
Well
that's what
done.
I'm saying. Like we don't know
Yes.
100%.
Um.
But
But
if they
even
do,
but but even so,
you know,
like I'm a soccer mom, so I'm the same soccer
yeah,
mom that didn't know what the fuck a Wii U was.
softball mom here, softball
Yep.
dad here, but yeah,
Yep.
same thing.
Yeah. So okay. So this system, so the new system that you want to sell me for $500, it plays Mario Kart 8.
Oh, it'll
Okay.
play Mario Kart. It'll play, and then
My Switch also plays Mario Kart 8, and it cost me $0. So
exactly
what else am
correct.
I? Yeah, that's my main point.
But also, soccer mom is buying for their kids.
Oh, the kids, the
And
baby screaming. Yeah,
wait, and kids,
yeah,
kids, they're on to the next thing.
that's
So
fair.
they're like, hey, I've had this. This is like, that meme. What's that meme from Toy Story where Andy's like, I don't want to play with you anymore,
Yes, yes. So yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that is a very well taken point. Even though soccer mom's like, I don't really get the appeal. Doesn't mean that little Billy is screaming. Okay, I need to shut him the fuck up. So let's get him the new system.
And then what happens is little Billy wants this game. I want this game. I want this game. Oh, dad, mom, can you play with me? Oh, this is still pretty cool. Like, hey,
Uh-huh.
I'll buy you some more games. This is cool. That's why Nintendo always keeping that family element is so big for them because they
Oh yeah,
know
for
that
sure, man.
the parents get sucked in because a lot of times because they like the games that their kids are playing, and it's an excuse for them to
Fuck
continue
yeah.
playing. They're like, hey, this is fun. Like, oh, let's go get another game. Oh, I'll buy you another game. Like, it's fine.
It almost becomes
So I
like
feel
a
like
weekly
that's a big
ritual for
thing
some.
for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pick out a
You know what
game.
I
I
mean?
used to
So
do
I
it in
think
the rental stores. Yeah.
that's one of the main things. And again, not all, but we all know a lot of Switches were sold to kids who
Fuck yeah.
pulled their parents in. So
And here's the
you know
thing
what I
that I
mean?
also stress at the end of this cynicism, what I will also tell people is Switch 2 to be a success doesn't have to outperform the Switch, doesn't even have to perform on par with the Switch. It just has to
Mhm.
not fail. That's all it has to
Exactly. I
do.
mean, if they reach, Nintendo would be thrilled if they have, 100 million. You know what I'm saying? Like 100 million even. Like
Fuck
they
yes,
would be
fuck
thrilled. And
even
then their
80 million.
softwares are up
Yeah.
there. That's what I'm saying. They're going to be thrilled because, I mean, compared to like what Wii U did, like they'll take that.
Oh yeah. Well, not
you
to
know?
mention, keep in mind that Nintendo is very well aware. So you mentioned the fact that they combine their dev studios to able to
Hmm.
work on one piece of hardware, and I want to give respect to that because I don't think people understand what a risk that was when they made that decision. Typically
It
speaking,
was such a good
it
decision,
was a
though. It was
great
such a good
decision,
decision.
and I'm so glad they made it. But put yourself in the shoes of like the Wii U, and they're like, okay, we're going to combine our software studios now into one piece of hardware. The only reason the Wii U didn't result in a cataclysm for Nintendo as a company is because the 3DS was able to pull
3DS.
it out. You don't have
Hmm.
that if the Switch fails. You don't have that dedicated
Oh, it was a
handheld.
risk. Of course, it was a
But
risk,
it was a good one.
100%.
It was a good one.
But it was a calculated risk.
Yes, and
That's the
it paid
difference.
off. Now Nintendo,
Exactly.
I think Nintendo understands they're kind of in a similar thing, but they're competing with the Switch now as well. So you can tell Nintendo has prepared for this transition. It's not just because their product. It's not that the Switch is their only product now, or the Switch next. It won't be. They've diversified into movies now. They're
Hmm.
diversifying into these Lego and these side projects more and
Theme
more.
parks.
Theme parks, exactly. Theme parks, which by the way are typically very, very well. Theme parks are well positioned for good income in downturns. Believe it or not, theme parks actually are
Correct.
one of those things that do pretty well. Um,
Yeah, and then you could tell you can even see like their licensing agreements,
mhm.
merchandise is going up. They're definitely expanding the brand, and they
Yes,
should because their IPs are iconic. So
it's
why
good. Their
not?
goal. Well, yeah, and again, this is a company that is literally tied at the hip to Disney. A lot of people don't know the hidden history of Nintendo and Disney with the Hanafuda cards. Literally, they were the first people in Japan that got the licensing for Disney characters for their Hanafuda cards and things of that nature. And so they have always
There's a
emulated
lot of
Disney.
similarities between them and
Yeah,
Apple as well. I think Nintendo has also been kind of mirroring Apple a little bit
a little
too.
bit. Yeah.
With
Well,
yeah. So why
again,
not?
Steve Jobs' emphasis on disruptive innovation and blue ocean strategy. Yeah.
Hmm.
You could tell Iwata was greatly influenced with the Wii by Apple products, for example.
Yeah, yeah, for
Not
sure.
not only the aesthetics, but just the mission of expanding. Steve
The
Jobs
base.
expanded tech, and the Wii, you could argue, absolutely expanded the gaming market. Um,
Oh, 100%
yep.
because I know that because when I got into college, like I kind of like dropped out of gaming a little bit, like during like the GameCube era.
Me
And
too.
we got me back in because I was
Me
like, dude,
too,
this is
buddy.
like kind of exciting. This is kind of fun. Like this is a new take on it. So, and then after that, like it just got you kind of back in the space. So,
Uh huh.
yeah, for sure,
No,
worked on me.
I also skipped the GameCube and I skipped most of the N64.
I know.
One,
The
I
thing
had
that
other
was
shit
great
going
about
on.
Yeah, and the thing that was great about the Wii though is that I had the one that you could put the GameCube games in. So I was still able to I still have like RE4 for GameCube. I still have Mario Kart Double Dash. So that was like my way of like going back to that gen that I like skipped out on.
Yeah,
So that was really
and
cool about the Wii too.
I never had a want to go back to the GameCube generation. But Rush Dog reminds me all the time. You technically do have a GameCube Zoo because you have a Wii. So
Yeah, there's a lot of good, and the thing I liked about GameCube, which I hope, and again after this we'll like wrap up, but like
sure,
I feel like with the GameCube, something that it did better than most of the Nintendo consoles is that they gave like IPs that are not Mario and Zelda like time to shine. And I really hope that for Switch 2, especially now that like the studios are really in together. Third parties are more on board. They had success selling software and hardware, so they can farm out some of these projects to like a
Yeah.
Bandai Namco or something. I hope we get a new Wave Race. I hope we get
Oh
another
yeah.
Star Fox. I hope we get Golden Sun. I get so many people talking about Golden Sun.
Mother,
Um, you
mother,
know what I'm saying? The
please.
Mother, like Mother, or Earthbound Mother, whatever you want to call it.
We
You
need
know,
Endpoint
like
for that, sadly.
1080 snowboarding, Punch Out, like those type of IP are Eternal Darkness. I still want that to come back. But you know what I'm saying? Like the
Mhm.
IPs that aren't as tentpole, but I feel like GameCube did that so well. And because Nintendo really like wasn't getting as much third party, so they had to churn out, and
Original
go into the well a
experiences.
little bit,
Mhm.
which I feel like I hope they do that for Switch 2 or whatever they call it. Like I hope they go to the well a little bit on the IPs. So, and again, definitely make some new ones too. But bring back like Rhythm Heaven. A lot of people on my timeline always talking about Rhythm Heaven, like those type of games. Like bring them back. Like why not? Now that the studios are, your workflows are more efficient and concise, and we've had this in place for a while. Switch 2, hopefully, like the hardware is similar, so it's not like we're starting from square one
Uh-huh.
again, not reinventing the wheel. I'm hoping that is like a benefit of it.
Seems like it's gonna be, but again, there's a lot of again. I won't be able to give a full final grade on how I think the Switch. I'm with you until we
Oh, of
see hardware.
course.
Yeah,
I'm talking
hardware.
on
Yeah,
speculation and
exactly.
hearsay right
Yeah,
now, but I'm
hardware
just
and
talking
games.
like,
Hardware and games.
yeah, this is like, most educated
Yeah, same
guess,
here.
hypothesis
Exactly.
time.
So basically,
But
we need to see the software direction, and we need to see is the hardware hostile to transition, which I don't think it's going to be. To be fair, I don't think we're gonna. I think both of those are actually in pretty good hands.
all
Again,
right. Well, let's say,
just a prediction, but we'll have to see.
well,
Looking
hey,
at
well, you know what we'll do when it comes out? I'll jump back on and we'll go over it,
fuck
man. That'd be
yeah,
really fun. That would
absolutely.
be really fun, man.
Um,
That'd be great.
so Brooke Barnes says I'm having to save up a bunch of money so I can buy some good games that are out there right now. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's
Last month, I got Echoes of Wisdom.
okay.
I got Plucky Squire,
Ooh, that's a
which
good
is
one.
that game is freaking
Uh,
incredible, by the way.
yes,
Everybody go and play that game.
yes.
And Astrobot.
How is Astrobot? I hear great
Three
shit about that one.
three bangers. Three bangers. Like if you like
Nice.
Super Mario Odyssey and you appreciate any of Sony's history, you will love Astrobot.
Okay, there it is. Astrobot, guys. It's the real deal.
Oh, it's incredible. It's worth every penny. And they just announced they're doing more free DLC for it, adding more bots and stuff. So
Nice.
it's awesome. Yeah, the developers are really behind it, which is great.
Beautiful. Monster says Carpenter's one of the goats for sure. 100% agree. Hey, Brooke, what you getting? Brooke says Echoes of Wisdom and other games I can't remember the name for the Switch and PS5.
So many, man.
Monster says, oh, okay, I don't blame you. So many bangers this year. It is kind of a low key good year for gaming.
Yeah.
Compared to 2023, I think a lot of people have their dour face, but I like 2024 so far.
Yeah, I agree. That's great. Great. That month alone, 3 incredible games in 1 month. That's
Yeah.
tough to do.
Brooke Barnes says, yeah, that's right. There's a few coming out next year that I want to get to.
Mhm.
Monster says the Doom port was like a true effort. They worked on that for a while. Yeah, that was
Oh, it was so
miracle work.
good. Panic button, man. They're like Gandalf magicians. Seriously,
The
they're
Monster
awesome.
says GameCube rules. And
Yes.
I am
Yes.
warming up. I am warming up to the GameCube as through the miracle work you guys have done with me on this.
Yeah, it's just don't know what it's like. It was just like so Nintendo.
Oh,
Like
it
when you
was.
look
I
back on
agree.
it, you're like, man, this was like I like so many things about
Oh,
this that like
GameCube.
I didn't
Yeah,
appreciate at the time.
the
You know
most
what I mean?
Nintendo fucking thing ever. Literally, the
Now
most
that
Nintendo thing
hindsight,
ever.
again, we're playing a Monday morning quarterback here, but still, it was great.
Yeah. Monster says 100% agree. We've got to bring some of those smaller
Mm-hmm.
IPs back. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I want to see a Punch Out. I'd love to see a real F-Zero, although F-Zero
Yeah, oh
99 is
yes,
fun.
I'm sorry, F-Zero. Well, at least they got 99 here. I know
At least
that's
we
not
got
like a new game,
99.
but
It's not the real
yeah.
deal, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Yeah, I would
fun.
love a G. I would love GX though. I would love GX. A
Rush
nice,
Dog
with it.
loves GX. Rush Dog talks about how that is like the best F-Zero ever made.
Oh, GX is incredible. It's so silky smooth, man. It's a
Oh,
great
okay.
game.
Treasure made it apparently, from what I've heard.
Dude, Treasure. Come on, man. Talk about
Put Treasure to
awesome
work. Like
devs.
there's a put Treasure if
Gunstar Heroes is like classic.
Gunstar
That game.
Heroes. Oh my god.
Game is classic.
So all right, I think that wraps up the chat. I know you gotta
Yeah.
split here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Before you go, I always like to ask guests. I've been asking you questions the whole time. Any questions you have for me before we head out?
Yeah, man. So what are the games that you're looking forward to most that are like announced, even for next year? Like which ones are on your radar?
So right now, the main one that I'm actually looking forward to is Slay the Princess. It's coming out actually in like a
Mm-hmm.
week. Very excited
Okay.
about that one. So that you are a person, you are an unnamed person. There is a princess in that cabin. You have to go
Mm-hmm.
kill that princess. Hilarity ensues because it is not as easy as it sounds.
I love it. That's hilarious.
And
Okay.
I'm gonna play through that. I'm gonna live stream through that.
Nice.
It's like a multiple choice type game where every time you
Is it
play
like
through, it's different.
oh, okay, okay. It's not. Is it like is it like an until dawn, or is it like
It's sort
it's not
of
like a?
like it's sort of like Until Dawn, but with beautiful hand drawn art. It's not a
Oh,
roguelike either, so
nice.
it's
Ugh, can't
Slay the
stand
Princess
roguelikes.
is this week. Yeah, so I'm gonna get I'll be
Cool.
definitely getting Slay the
Hey, man, you
Princess.
got that on my radar. Thanks for that.
Oh yeah, it's great, beautiful artwork, and every time you go through, it alters and changes. And the princess basically reacts every time you play through based on decisions you had made before. She's either like hates your
Cool.
fucking guts, or she trusts you, or she doesn't trust you, and it's interesting.
That sounds like to me one of my most anticipated games. I think it's coming. I think next year at this point. But Wolf Among Us 2, I cannot wait for that game.
Oh,
Oh
that's gonna be
God,
good.
I loved Wolf Among Us 1. It was so
Yeah, Wolf
good.
Among Us was good. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Then a couple to GX Remaster would go so
Mhm.
hard. Sega Dude Monster
Yeah.
says. Keithia says Slay the Princess, I think, was this week. It's digital tomorrow. Yeah, so it will be this
Nice.
week. Yeah, because their Amazon's gonna. It was in October
You know,
sometime.
you know who should get. You know who I think should get the F-Zero game
Who's that?
for Switch 2? Shinnon.
Yes, they've earned it. Yeah.
I think Shinnon. I
Past
think
RMX
Shinnon
was
would do an
amazing.
amazing job on F-Zero. My opinion.
100%. And then Brooke Barnes says everybody should get COVID and flu shots. Is it that time? It is. It's October. Yeah, it is. It is getting to be time for.
My wife works at a preschool, so I'm probably gonna get it.
Yeah, it's you don't want that shit, guys.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
no, no,
so
no, no,
bad.
no, no,
Oh, it's so
no,
fucking
no, no, no,
bad.
no,
Both those.
no.
You feel like you want to die. You can't get out of bed. Don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
it's
risk
like
it.
the flu, kind of.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I think that's gonna wrap the show up.
All right.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give VGMobster a little bit of break from my old man rambling, but I'm sure he'll be
No,
back because everybody comes back. So I
oh
have
yeah,
one.
man, this was a great time. Thanks for having me, bro.
No,
This was
anytime,
awesome.
man.
So
Anytime.
fun.
I do have one last question for you before we cut you
Do it.
loose. VG Mobster,
Mm-hmm.
did you have fun?
Fuck yeah.
All right, we're
It
gonna
was
let you wrap
fun,
up the
man.
show.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to stay back in the back room with us, we'll hang out for a brief minute, just kind of discuss a denouement. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up. We're gonna end the live stream here. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming out and saying hi. I believe the physical is in February. Keithius, don't break my heart like that. It's October. Anyway, he's probably right. All right, love you guys so much. Take care and get the fuck out of here. Talk to you soon.